How are we all? Good to see everybody so calm and patient and all understanding of the situation. Look, tonight we're going to go through it all, my friends. We're going to talk about an outgoing. We're going to talk about why you haven't heard those 3 words yet around Martín Zubimendi. And I'm going to tell you why I don't think you've got anything to worry about. So, let's get stuck into it over the course of however long it takes. And hopefully we may even hear a little something tonight. But let's wait and see what happens. I've got my own information on this today. I'm not necessarily just relying on journalists or other people. I've reached out to a couple of people from my side over at the Spanish end, and I'm going to fill you in on what I've been getting told. We're going to talk about Fabio Carvalho and that very quick announcement of him moving to Brentford in a deal that will total about £27.5 million all in. So yeah, look, there's loads for us to get through tonight. It was, of course, supposed to be the day off, but you don't get days off in this industry. If stuff happens, then we've got to make sure that we are here and ready to go. So that's why I'm here tonight, my friends. Again, appreciate you being with us. Let me just get everything set up here on the back end, and we can kick off tonight's stream. Cool. Okay. Right, first members comment of the night. David Jones, formerly of the Monkeys. Sorry, mate, I couldn't resist. You're old enough, Dave. I think you probably get that reference. Evening, Craig, and good evening to you as well, mate. Thank you so much. Membership with us for 26 months. What a long time, man. Really appreciate that support. Thank you, Dave. Stevie boy. So, Steve's getting straight to it tonight. No messing around. Said, has he even said yes to Liverpool? If not, it's all speculation. So, I'm going to tell you what I've been told, mate, and that's all I can do. We'll go through what the media have reported. Of course we will, Stevie. But for me, mate, I've been told that he has said yes to the club. That's my information. Now, I'm not telling you it's a done deal because, of course, deals need to be structured, agreements need to be made. But look, ask yourself a few questions. Why would we continually sell players out if we didn't think there was an incoming coming in? Look at Fabrizio Romano's post that said the money used from the sale of Fabio Carvalho will be put towards the price for Martín Zubimendi. My information from the Spanish side tallies that indeed the player is wanting to move to Liverpool. I can say that very confidently. What I cannot talk about is Liverpool's side, the financial structure of it, because as I've said to you guys all the way through, I don't have anything really on the English side. David Lynch is the only real journalist I keep in contact with so much on the English side, but this information has been coming from the Spanish side, where I do have, thankfully, the luck to be able to reach out to a few people. And everybody is... So look, here we go already. Didn't you get told Bellingham was going to sign? Again, you could just fuck right off. Mate, I'm not here to make you feel better. I'm not here to listen to your crap. If you want to go on about Bellingham, off you pop. I told you so many things this summer that have happened. I told you Toro was surplus to requirements, and today being told again publicly he's going to be sold. I have told you what I know. If you don't believe me, don't agree with me, don't want to hear it, that's absolutely fine. But I'm not going to sit here and listen to anyone's shite because I don't need it, quite frankly. So, yes, mate, I was told that Bellingham wanted to come, but I've also told people who came to the live shows the reasons why Bellingham didn't come, and I've been very clear about that as well. So again, mate, one thing I've gotten wrong in 7 years, and that's what we want to talk about. Absolute weird stuff altogether. But look, again, as I said, somebody said hit a nerve there. Well, bye-bye to you as well. It's very simple, lads. Come into our channel, you show respect, or you can piss off. It's as simple as that. I could have sat here today and done nothing. Took my day off, not streamed, not come on, not giving you the information that I've told. Up to you whether you want to believe it or listen to it or not. As I said, doesn't make any difference to me one way or the other. I could play it safe and sit here and say, well, wait for the here we goes and wait for the... I'm telling you what I know. If you want to wait for another journalist, or an actual journalist I should say, go ahead. That's no problem, no disrespect for me whatsoever. But I'm here doing my job, trying to give you information that I know. And yes, the Bellingham stuff does hit a nerve because it was something that obviously I thought was going to happen. And obviously my information was that Liverpool wanted to make it happen. But as I've always said to you, I can't make John W. Henry spend money. And the reason why Bellingham went to Real Madrid, well, I've explained that at the live shows to people who came out to say hello. So anyway, let's get straight into it. How reliable is Mundo Deportivo? Said off the post. I wouldn't have them in a top tier source for me. Very big outlet. I think over 3 million followers on social media, or at least on X. But I would always have looked at Mundo Deportivo's stuff as being, a little bit out there. I wouldn't be holding them as one of my reasons for thinking the deal's going to be done. But look, the more positive stuff you see, the better. And there has just been a lot of positivity about this deal over the past 24 to 48 hours. Man United look like the same old crap today, said Roosbeth, and thank you for your membership, my friend. Appreciate you. I did watch bits and pieces of the Community Shield. That Johnny Evans penalty was all kinds of shocking as well. But look, it's a nothing game. It's there to raise charity, and it does good money, or raises good money for that charity. But other than that, it's just another pre-season game, really. It's not a trophy that any of us ever really count. Jackie, again, thank you so much. In the middle of Disney Park, watching you anyway. We love that, Jackie. Thank you for your support, and I hope you guys are having a great time over in Disney. Danny Bingham, thank you, Danny, for your super chat. Said, hi Craig, at the game tomorrow, almost Zubi time too. Yeah, it's going to be a very fun day tomorrow. Obviously, there's 2 watch-alongs to go through. We'll be live from about 5 to 12 tomorrow. Have a great time at the game, Danny, as well, mate. Hope you really enjoy it. Craig, was Romano talking about negotiations as an option for Zubi, not just the release clause? So, I obviously cannot put words into another man's mouth. Let me have a look at his post and see what we think. No, that's part of Fabrizio Romano with regards to Fabio Carvalho. So, all I remember seeing today from Romano really about this was... one sec, I'm getting through my notes because I think... No, that was Plettenberg. One sec. So many journalists have been talking about this. So, what I know from Fabrizio Romano was that he said that the money from the sale of Fabio Carvalho will go towards the purchase of Martín Zubimendi. And that very much makes sense, because ask yourself this. Would Liverpool have sold if we hadn't got players lined up to come in? Would Liverpool have intentionally started to look to water down and weaken the squad without reassurances of players coming in? Because it isn't just Fabio Carvalho. We spoke about Lewis Kumas going on loan to Stoke. There is a deal getting close, according to Dave O.C. Kopp, for Bobby Clark to go to Salzburg and hook up with Pep Linders, who took over Salzburg head coach as well. And then there's lots of different bits and pieces around this. All I can say to you is, the people I've reached out to on the Spanish side have said to me that the player is absolutely committed to coming to Liverpool Football Club. That's it. That's all I know. I don't know about any financials between the clubs. I don't know if Liverpool will trigger the release clause. I don't know if Liverpool will look to add a little bit more onto the fee. For instance, one example today that has come out from the Spanish side is that Sociedad may look for a sell-on clause to be put on there, which would be actually beneficial to Liverpool in one way, because it would allow us to structure the deal more favourably, and of course any potential sell-on clause there would benefit Sociedad in the longer term. But for Liverpool, it would mean they don't have to pay the £51 million in one lump sum instalment. So you can see why Liverpool may be open to that as well. JJR, thank you for your super chat, my friend. So keep doing what you're doing, Craig. You bring a smile to many people's faces every night. Thank you. There's always some little childish smart arse, though, that wants to come in and try to be funny. Again, I didn't go into his room or his mother's box room, drag him to his phone and make him come on and watch. People come on to watch because we have a good time. And on this one, I can only tell you what I know. Look back through the whole summer. There's not one thing I've said and committed to, because I've told you honestly, I didn't know. I didn't know about a lot of it. But when Zubimendi came up, I knew I had the opportunity to reach out to people I know on the Spanish side, and that's where I was getting my little bits of information from. So other than that, we're all anxiously awaiting the here we go, because it's been a frustrating window overall, and we still haven't got any business done. So whatever way we look at it, we have every right to be anxious right now, because clocks are ticking, 1 week until the Prem kicks off, and we haven't signed one player as of right now. And we're supposed to believe that we're getting 3 over the line before the window closes on the end of August. So let's wait and see how that goes. No day off, must be transfer chaos. Yes, it is. There is lots going on behind the scenes at Liverpool. Some of it we know about and we'll talk about tonight. Some of it we don't know about. For instance, I would be expecting Liverpool to be putting forward something for Anthony Gordon before the window closes, based off what we're seeing and reading today. Mr. Zubimendi back in again. How are we, Fake Martin? How are we? Zubi! How are we, mate? Welcome in. Thank you for your super chat. Appreciate you. So look, my information is if Liverpool agree the deal financially with Sociedad, this moves quickly. Now, Liverpool could just get to the point where they go, okay, trigger the clause. That's what this is about. That's the delay as far as I'm aware. You know, we've seen other journalists. I say other, sorry, I'm not a journalist. We've seen journalists backtrack on stuff they've said yesterday. For instance, Plettenberg yesterday was saying that the player has already basically committed to coming to Liverpool. Now today, whoever runs his account, whether it's him or somebody else, is starting to backtrack on it a little bit. This is what he said over the last hour or so. Understand that Real Sociedad have been officially informed that Liverpool is very interested in Martín Zubimendi. That's why there are concrete and ongoing talks between Liverpool and the player and his management with permission from Real Sociedad. They do say no club-to-club talks at this stage, and that the 25-year-old hasn't informed Sociedad of his decision yet. On top of that, we have Mundo Deportivo, who said Liverpool have communicated to Real Sociedad that they are ready to pay Martín Zubimendi's £51 million or €60 million release clause. It seems like the Reds might have gotten tired of negotiating on possible different structures and just want to get the deal done. Now again, I'm going to ask you, if you're Liverpool and you haven't gotten the nod from the player, why would you do that? You'd only trigger the clause knowing that the player is going to come. So if that is true, and again, I can't stand over the story from Mundo Deportivo, I don't know. But everything is lining up that it's just a matter of structuring this rather than waiting for anything else. If the player had gotten cold feet, he'd have got it by now and he'd have said no. He's been turned by the idea of coming to Liverpool and following on the footsteps of Xabi Alonso. Everything else is just noise at this moment in time, and a really difficult wait for us Liverpool fans. Welcome to Anfield Agenda FC, LFC Shabby. Appreciate your support. Is there any merit to the Lacroix links, do you know? Personally, don't know anything on the centre-back situation. Not a Scooby. Sorry, that was a bit of a weird pun, kind of. But I have seen his name mentioned. That's all I can say. His name's been mentioned in reports, but I couldn't tell you as of right now who, if anyone, Liverpool wanted centre-back. I haven't got a clue. Haven't got a clue on the forward stuff outside of Anthony Gordon. The Daily Star wrote last night that Liverpool are going after 2 attacking players in this window. I don't know whether that's true or not either. All I can tell you is the 2 things that I've kind of had information on, which the Anthony Gordon stuff, which I've been talking about since May, and yesterday I finally got the player wants to come to Liverpool from the Zubimendi deal. But nothing is signed, sealed and delivered yet. And I get it. I get the anxiety from everyone. I want these deals done. I want the owners held to account. I want Arne Slot to have a strong squad to go and try and win the league title. And I don't want to be left to a last minute scramble. So I'm with every one of you that are frustrated right now. Again, you can look at the matter hypothetically, or we can look at it factually. And factually, it's August the 10th and we've signed no one. We're about to sell a player. We've moved some players on loan. I told you guys late last night as well what was going to happen with the loan for Luis Kumas. He signed a new deal. He's gone on loan to Stoke City for the season. We knew that was coming up. That's where we're at right now. Kelleher, I'd keep an eye on that situation as well. Liverpool are unsure yet, if they got, from what I've read, because I don't have any insight on this, about Marmadashvili. Again, Liverpool are quite happy to play the waiting game there, because I think Valencia need financially to make somewhat of a big sale before the end of the window. So Liverpool are probably being patient on that front. I would expect some definitive decision at least on whether we follow through on that soon enough. LFG Jabi, thank you for your super chat, my friend. You didn't put in a comment, but appreciate your support. Right, let me get back into more of this. Getting bored of this transfer now. I can see us saying we tried but couldn't get terms agreed again. Look, mate, I get it. I'm not here to belittle anybody unless they come in and be an asshole. I get it. You know, we do have PTSD of this type of stuff happening. We had the Caicedo stuff last summer. We had the Lavia stuff last summer. I'm not here to mock anybody who's anxious. Not at all. I understand it. And with these owners being the cheap SOBs that they are, I understand where you're coming from. I'm just relaxed about it because I have faith in the people who've been telling me what they're telling me. That's all I can say. On Bobby Clark, I have to say I'm genuinely surprised that we look like we're looking to move on Bobby Clark. Dave O.C. Kopp on his Instagram account, I believe, said Salzburg are edging closer to completing a permanent deal for Bobby Clark, who just signed a new contract not so long ago. So I wonder if Liverpool will include a buyback clause in this Bobby Clark contract. I haven't seen any information on that yet, but it's a surprise to me because I genuinely rate Bobby Clark as a footballer. Maybe he wants to go over, work, get first team action with Salzburg, and maybe Liverpool will have either a sell-on clause or at least a first refusal on a buyback. A little bit of bad news for Chelsea as well. Reece James has suffered a setback ahead of the new season after suffering a new hamstring injury. 24 years of age. They said he felt discomfort while his minor return has not been rushed. I honestly feel for this guy. You know, he's missed a lot of football. There's no doubting his talent, but you know, you'd have to say, is he going to hang up the boots at some point? It's been a really tough time for Reece James, and yeah, I can imagine how frustrating it is for him at this moment in time. Bellingham, here we go. Caicedo, here we go. Lavia, here we go. Heard it all before. Cool. Then you won't need to hear it again, Adam, so fuck off elsewhere. And by the way, I certainly didn't give any of those here we goes. I did stick with the Bellingham story all summer, but it wasn't me that gave the here we go on Caicedo. Liverpool won the bidding process. You know, we did our part. After that, the player made his mind up. Lavia, I don't ever remember anybody, and I mean anybody, saying here we go on Lavia. So you've just pulled that out your arse just to, I don't know, make your anger feel a bit better. Mate, this type of behaviour in the real life is going to lead to a lot of people getting slaps in the face. You don't go around being that way in real life to anyone. So you do you, bro. You do you. But, you know, you don't just get to make stuff up to be angry about. Oh, Mbappe, here we goes. I've had enough of it. Haaland, here we goes. I've had enough of it. You know, we just talk about shit that actually happened. Craig, do you agree it was the right idea to sell Carvalho? I would disagree with it, personally. I'll tell you why I disagree with it, right? We were told that Slot wanted to assess his squad. And that's sound. But I don't know what more he could have done in pre-season to convince the manager. Scored in 2 games against United and Arsenal. Looked sharp when I seen him play. So all I can assume is that Arne Slot just doesn't feel he's the right fit for Liverpool's system. It's a good deal financially. I think Paul Joy said, including add-ons, that could go up to about 27.5 million. Fulham have a 20% sell-on clause for anything above 5 million, and I think Liverpool now have a 15% sell-on clause on top of that. So it's a good deal financially for Liverpool for a player who's played very little football for us. Brentford, I'm sure he'll do well there as well. I'm sure Thomas Frank will look to utilise him with Ivan Toney and other players they have there. Yeah, but look, it was a surprising one, to be honest with you. I thought Fabio might have at least had a shot to try and prove himself. Wayne, Melia, thank you for joining Anfield Agenda FC, my friend. Appreciate you. It's a 17.5% sell-on clause. Thank you for that. Yeah. So, look, let's start off with a poll on that. You know, were Liverpool right to sell Carvalho? Right, so was selling Carvalho the correct call, yay or nay? I'll let you guys work away on that. I have a couple of super chats to go back through. 1 second. Harry, thank you, mate, for your super chat. Harry said, thanks for streaming tonight. I appreciate it. My pleasure. My pleasure, mate. I actually cancelled a meal out with my wife to come on and stream, which is kind of why I'm a little bit annoyed at the assholes that came in early doors just to try and be smart arses, because again, I'm kind of in the doghouse with my wife over this, but I wanted to come on and stream because I know how anxious I am in these situations, and I wanted to at least be able to share what I've been told with people. So hence the reason I'm not putting up with anyone's nonsense tonight, because your boy's probably already on the sofa. Right, Lacroix for Sepp and Cash links for Sepp to Wolfsburg, said Jamal. All I can say to you, Jamal, my friend, is that, of course, Vandenberg's available, and Lacroix is a player who has been linked with us in the past. I just really don't know, bro. I really don't know anything around the centre-back search. Daniel, thank you for your super chat, my friend. Said, some Liverpool fans remind me of junkies who are looking for the next high, which is why they can't be patient during the transfer window. Always complaining about the here we go. I can't lie and say I'm not anxious, my friend Daniel. I am. I'm anxious, but I'm also confident in what people have told me. But I'm not confident about the centre-back situation or what forwards we're going after, because at the moment I haven't got a clue outside of our well-documented interest in Anthony Gordon. Turkish Delight 77, welcome in. Appreciate you. Can you shed some light on the De Ligt hijack rumours? To the best of my understanding, there's nothing to it. But as I've said, being honest, I just don't know much about the centre-back situation. But I've certainly not heard of Liverpool looking to make a move for him. Definitely isn't something that I've had come in on my phone or on any other way. So, yeah, I don't know, mate, is the honest answer. The problem is not selling Carvalho. The issue is we're not getting anyone. Well, I've just told you we're going to sign Zubimendi. You know, do with that as you want. But, look, this is where I get a little bit confused, right? Because all summer, I was the one who was being unreasonable, right? All summer, everybody was going in on me saying, listen, you were told it's going to be August. Listen to Richard Hughes. You were told what's going to happen. Then it comes to August, and I'm relatively calm, and now I'm getting shouted at for being calm. You know what I mean? It's a kind of a no-win here for me. I can either tell you the bits and pieces I hear, or I can't. But outside of that, mate, again, I don't know what to say. David, nice to see you in again, my friend. Appreciate you. Said, evening, Craig. Hope you're well. I'm good. Yeah, man, I'm good. Can't complain. Had a fairly productive day today. Got the podcast episode out. Hope you guys checked that out earlier on. I gave as much information as I could around everything that's going on at the club right now. Craig Connor said, I'm unsettled because of Lavia Caicedo. Again, totally understandable, my namesake friend. But just, if I could try and ease your mind a little bit, it was very different people behind the scenes last year. So it was George Schmadtke and Jurgen that were taking care of transfers at that point. Now we've got Michael Edwards and Richard Hughes. And I think without these two men, we don't get a sniff at Zubimendi. But because of that relationship Richard Hughes has with Zubimendi's agent, because he's the same agent, obviously, that helped bring the Iriola manager from Rayo Vallecano over to Bournemouth. Also, Xavi Alonso shares an agent with Zubimendi. So, from that side, Liverpool are well placed. And I don't think that Carvalho or any of these other players are going to be let go unless Liverpool know what's going to happen. So, it's going to be one of those bus situations, I think, where we see a few things happen quickly. But you are all understandably frustrated. Don't get me wrong. This is starting to get to saga territory right now, and none of us want another transfer saga. We all want a positive outcome quickly, because we all want that. I can't think of a better word I'm about to say than release. Manny, thank you, Manny, for your super chat. Let me bring it up on screen for you, bro. We'll get Zubimendi and Gordon, but that might be the craft beer talking. Enjoy it. Look, It wouldn't be the worst of windows, that, but it still wouldn't really give us the cover at centre-back. Now, I'm waiting for an indication on Joe Gomez's future as well, because that might tell us how far along we are in the centre-back search. I can't imagine a world where we let Joe Gomez go and don't have a replacement lined up. He's been roughly linked with Villa, but Villa apparently have two other first options. I think Chalobah, one of them, and who's the other one Villa were looking at? I know they need to move on Diego Carlos, but there was a couple of other centre-backs that they were looking at. So, yeah, again, I can't see Liverpool selling Gomez unless we have a replacement ready and lined up. Thank you for taking the time to update us. As I said to somebody in a Discord earlier on, Sam, it's never a chore. You know, it's always a pleasure to come on here and chat with you guys. I'm too old to put up with any of the sarky shit from the impatient people who just want to go and moan, you know. Russ, this transfer is dragging. It is, mate, but I guess it's what happens at the end of it that's the important part, right? You know, but you are right, of course. We all want the positive outcome as quickly as possible here. And looking back to last summer, if we had the same people involved at the club, I would be concerned. And as I said to my namesake earlier on, I totally understand how the Caicedo and Lavia stuff, it scarred me. I mean, just go back and look how happy I was when we outbid Chelsea for Caicedo. I thought we were winning the league. Like, I was getting into nips out territory there. Eddie Cox Wilkins, thank you, Eddie, for your super chat. And Eddie has said, when do you think we're going to hear deal agreed? It depends what you mean by deal agreed. I think by the end of tomorrow, Liverpool are going to make a decision on how they pay for Zubimendi. But from the other side of it, again, I don't think you get a week into a negotiation or so with the player unless you're getting very positive vibes, which tally with what I've been told, which again is that the player wants the move. But of course, they also, as the selling club, have to make it look like they're doing everything in their power to keep their star boy. They can't just look like they've rolled over. So they've done everything. They've done the guilt tripping. They've tried to offer him more money than Orlathabal, who was their highest paid player previously. And none of that has convinced him to stay. So any, I think, rational person would think to themselves, okay, clearly the player is not getting cold feet. In fact, if I'm the player, I'm probably getting annoyed at this point with the change of stance from we won't stand in the player's way if he informs us that he wants to leave to the guilt tripping. I just always said I don't want the youngster to be vilified. I hope he leaves Sociedad on good terms with that fan base, because I'm sure the club means a hell of a lot to the kid. Hairline Harry, how are you? And thank you, mate, for your super chat. Said use this to buy your wife some flowers. Do you know what? One thing, mate, she'd hit me with them. Not because of tonight particularly, but she's never let me buy her flowers. The only man who was ever allowed to buy her flowers was her grandfather, and I've listened. You know what I mean? A new pair of trainers. Now, she'd probably be on board with that, but yeah, she's never let me buy her flowers, mate. Only her granddad was allowed to buy her flowers. And again, I respect that. Firmino said, Craig, I genuinely don't believe we'll sign Zubi anymore. Why is it you're so confident? Is it just due to who we have negotiating the deal? No, it's because I've been told the player wants to make the move by 3 different people on the Spanish side. So I'm sitting here full of confidence that the player wants the move and just waiting for how Liverpool structure the payment. That's, as far as I'm concerned right now, that's the only sticking point here. Will Sociedad agree to Liverpool not paying it in one instalment if they get a sell-on clause, which is something that's been spoken about in the media today? Will they agree to a little bit more than the release clause for Liverpool to structure it over a few years? Or will Liverpool just get fed up of dealing with it and just go, okay, well, here's the money? But either way, that's all we're hanging on for right now. You know, again, no player is going to leave the club hanging around this long and go humming and hawing. Liverpool will be on the phone with the agent. You've already seen Florian Plettenberg and other journalists say that they've already given Sociedad, have given the player's agent permission to be in contact with Liverpool. So Liverpool will have gotten the vibe from him. So it's just down to this part now. Right, let me just grab another super chat that's popped in. And thank you so much, Matthew, as well. I haven't read it yet, but thank you. Craig, sorry if you've already been asked, but any updates on Zubimendi? Thoughts on Carvalho? Personally, I think it's a great deal for both parties. Carvalho gets more game time. We get money for a fifth choice. Right, I'll work backwards from that one. The Carvalho deal, the numbers involved in it, I think, are more than fair for everybody. A little bit surprised that he wasn't maybe given half a season to show Arne Slot what he can do. Again, I said this yesterday, I'll stand over. I'd sell Jones before I'd sell Carvalho, but Liverpool obviously got an offer that they deem good value. Anything above the 5 million that we paid, 20% of that is going to go on to Fulham. Liverpool have a 17.5%. Thank you, chat, for helping me on that earlier on. Sell-on clause on this, and Liverpool all in will see the deal, according to Paul Joyce, at about £27.5 million, including add-on. So from that side, yeah, it's the numbers add up. From the Zubimendi stuff, all I can say is repeat to you what I said earlier on. I've had nothing from the English side, so I haven't heard from David Lynch. I haven't spoken to anybody else to tell me from our side that the deal's done on a financial side, but I can tell you 3 different people, 2 journalists and somebody else whose identity I'm going to keep quiet, has told me that the player has informed them that he wants to move to Liverpool, that it is just a matter of the 2 clubs sorting stuff out at this point. That's all I can say to you. Again, I always tell people to be cautious in what they believe. Challenge me, challenge anybody, but all I ask is that if you are going to challenge it, just be respectful, and we can have a conversation about it. So for me, I'm at 95%. Every day I've had more and more little snippets on this. Yesterday I was at 85%. Today I'm even more confident. I'm at 95%. And I think we know we have to get a crack on with this. We can't hang around. We've got other irons in the fires, other things we need to do. And the season starts in a week. So yeah, I expect Liverpool to make a definitive swoop on this one soon. I don't understand how Hughes can do 2 players' contracts and 2 to 3 transfers in 20 days. It feels rushed, and I'm nervous and excited about Zubi deal. So, on the contracts, they don't have to be done inside the transfer window. I mean, of course, we all want them done. None of us want Trent, particularly going into a new season, or with the window closing and Trent not being renewed. That's absolutely fine. But we can agree at any point. Like, you can sign players onto longer deals outside of the transfer windows. It doesn't need to be done inside the window. So don't really worry about that for now. How do I phrase this? Perceived wisdom on Trent is that the club are going to sit down properly next week to get stuck into those negotiations. And on Virgil, it's kind of always felt the club were relaxed on this, and it was never going to be something that was going to be agreed this summer. Now, I'm not saying I agree with that, but it's always been spoken about that it'll be maybe even the latter part of 2024 before the club sit down with Virgil. Heard this news 2 to 3 days ago, so I reckon no one actually has a clue on the England side. Again, I don't. Like I've said to you, I'm giving you exactly what I have and exactly where it's coming from, within reason, obviously. But I have nothing from the English side. I haven't had a journalist say to me it's done. I haven't had a journalist say to me it isn't done. But again, if you look at it in total and put all the little pieces together, there is yet to be one single report that I've seen that says it isn't going to happen, or that the player's getting cold feet. Not one. Whether it's from the Spanish side or not. That surely must give you some confidence. Frustration, yes, of course. But there's nothing to say this isn't happening. Very quickly after he won that bid for Caicedo, the wobble started. We started to hear the backtracking that Caicedo only went to Chelsea. All the other stuff. But not one journalist has had anything negative on this. Not one. Whether you're talking about Plettenberg, Romano, Ornstein, Joyce, any of them. David Lynch, nothing negative. Cam said, any clue if we get money from the Dominic Solanke deal? Yep, about 8 million, just under £8 million is my understanding, Cam. So we sold him, I think, for about, I want to say it was about £18 million, maybe a bit more. But the numbers run on it were basically Liverpool get 20% of above what Bournemouth paid, so between what Bournemouth paid and the 65 million quid release clause. So Liverpool are in for about 8 million quid based off the numbers I've seen, Cam, which again is a deal that brought in money thanks to Michael Edwards putting that release clause into Solanke's contract all that time ago. Nick, lovely to see you in, Nick. Thank you for your super chat, appreciate you. Nick said, selling Fabio was tough but was necessary. The playing time would have been hard to get. He wouldn't have broke through the winger ranks and the only as much higher potential midfield. Two big factors in my opinion. I think two very sensible conclusions, Nick. Neoni looks like a real talent, absolutely. I'm just a little bit surprised on Fabio because I thought he had a good pre-season, but the numbers certainly seem fair for everybody involved in it. I think Brentford fans will love him. Remember, we had a former Liverpool player, Sergi Canos, who went and did well at Brentford at one point as well, and I think Brentford fans are very much going to like Fabio. Colin O'Farrell Nolan said, how reliable are your contacts in Spain? Well, let me just ask you a question, mate. How do you expect me to answer that question? If they're my contacts in Spain, why would they be my contacts? Because I hold a lot of stock in what they say. So I'm not really going to listen to spoofers from Spain, am I? Or I'm hardly going to come on here and go, oh yeah, no, the shit. Absolute spoofers, mate, a lot of them. They're very, very good. Professional journalists, two of them. One of them working inside a football club. And again, like, I could have come on and leaned into the whole Mundo Deportivo thing, but I didn't, because I wouldn't class them as an outlet that I would hold in very high regard for transfer stuff, even though they've over 3 million followers on their social media. They've said Liverpool have communicated to Sociedad that they're ready to pay the release clause, and it seems the Reds might have gotten tired negotiating different structures and just want to get the deal done. That's a Spanish outlet saying that. So again, you know, that's my take on it, mate. Niall Kimmings, thank you for your super chat, said, bit strange seeming to go for players we aren't 100% sure want to join. So again, mate, I'm going to just reiterate what I've said. Reiterate what I've said. I don't think there is a problem over the player at this point. I think it's down to the structure between the clubs. The player is going to come. This isn't going to be... If it fails, and it won't, but if it did, it wouldn't be because Zubimendi said no. It would be because Liverpool threw their arms up in the air and walked away from the structure. And that would cause a pretty big backlash, I would suggest, from Liverpool fans, because, yeah, we can't be seen to poo-poo the bed on this one after the club very much did on 2 occasions in quick succession last summer. So, yeah, again, I can only tell you and be consistent on what I've said all the way through. Craig, have they been right in the past track record? Well, they were wrong on Bellingham. One of them is involved in this, and he was wrong on Bellingham. Other times, yes. Again, Germany and Spain, I've said, are the 2 places that I'm lucky enough to be able to reach out to people in. I don't really have too many contacts in the English media, but look, it doesn't really matter what I say at any point. It matters when the club announce it. It matters when we know the player's coming for his medical. That's when we all really just drop our shoulders and breathe a sigh of relief. So I totally understand everyone's apprehension. I get it. I'm apprehensive, but for different reasons. I'm apprehensive that we're sitting here on August the 10th with no signings. That to me is a piss take, you know. The window's been open now, 7 to 8 weeks, and we have not signed one single goddamn player. And if we get this one done, that's great. But as I said yesterday, one swallow doesn't make a summer. We need to get more players in. And the more time this takes, the less likely those potentially become. I reckon we'll be there. We'll be here we go in the next 2 days, said Callum. I wouldn't be surprised to see it tonight. I wouldn't. Even late. Liverpool obviously have 2 games tomorrow, and we'll be covering them on the channel, both of them. But I wouldn't be surprised to hear something late tonight. Honestly, I wouldn't. Just pay the release clause. He's the one we need. Do it. So, again, Brendan, I'm playing devil's advocate here a little bit, mate. Let's say we paid the release clause, and then we couldn't sign another player or two because, let's say, they also had release clauses that needed to be paid in full, and the clubs wouldn't. You've got to try and balance it out. Now, I agree with you firmly that this is the position we need to get strengthened the most. Absolutely. But we also do have to be able to be active in other parts of the window as well. So, Liverpool are going to want to try and get the most favourable deal ultimately for Liverpool Football Club, which is understandable as long as it comes off. David said, I hope you're right about tonight. Again, mate, so do I. So does everyone. But look, just ask yourself this question, right? If you think I'm spoofing right now and I don't feel as confident as I do, how does that tally up with the whole rest of the summer where I've been nothing but aggressive and angry and shouty and demanding and calling out the owners time after time after time after time? I wouldn't be sitting here calm if I wasn't really, 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 really confident in this right now, because I haven't been confident all summer, have I? I've been frustrated at the lack of business. Nick, thank you for your super chat. Nick said, I understand Slot has little pull in terms of transfers. Do you think he wants to take a youth approach like Feyenoord and Dutch football have done? So, when you say he has little pull, do you mean in the world of football nobody knows who he is? Or that he has little say from within the football club? Because the second part may be right. He will certainly have an input. But the first part, I definitely do think people within football know about Slot's style of play, and I would think a lot of players would be excited, particularly after seeing how we've matched up in pre-season, which is only pre-season. But again, I can say, mate, I'm buzzing to watch Arne Slot side play. Danny Bingham said, it feels different to Caicedo, more confident. Terry Tibbs talks footy. That Caicedo deal, by the way, just to go back to it for a second, that was one of those things I've not really witnessed in football. It's almost like when you want to buy a house and you're at an auction and it just goes to sealed bids where everybody puts in their best offer by X o'clock. That's kind of what happened. And Liverpool won that process with a record £110 million bid, I think it was. And then Todd Bowley, Chelsea, the player's agent, they backed out, and it looked really bad. It looked really, really bad for us. Craig, I've missed it, what you said about Zubi. All I've said, mate, is that from 3 different people on the Spanish side of things, I've been told the player wants the move. The player has said yes to the move. All I can say I don't know anything about is the payment side of it, like I said from the very start. I don't know if Liverpool are still trying to figure out payment structure. All I can see on that side of things is what I've read in the media, which has been a mix of they'll pay the release clause, Sociedad want to negotiate a sell-on clause, or that Liverpool are looking to structure the deal in a different way. Outside of that, mate, honestly, I haven't got a clue. But I can tell you the player wants to play for Liverpool. Nevelin. FSG had 110 for Caicedo, now raising funds for Zubimendi. So, on Caicedo, that didn't have to be paid in one sum. So that's one difference straight away on that deal. There was no release clause being triggered there. That was just highest offers. It would have been structured, I'm sure, over 4 or 5 years. Again, I feel like I'm defending the owners here when I don't want to be. We also spent money after that. We brought in Ryan Gravenberch with Toro Endo. Maybe one more player, my memory is serving me right. So we did spend money, so it's not like that 110 mil is sitting there. That 110 mil was never sitting there in a bank account ready to just all be spent. It would have been structured. Again, I'm just trying to give you a reading of the situation from a financing side of it. Looking good today, Craig. Always keep it up. Thank you, my friend. Appreciate you. Rabadam, let me grab your comment up on screen, bro. Heard anything new on Bastoni or Gordon? Bastoni, never heard anything. You know, the only time I really brought up Bastoni was when Moby Hake, I think it was, spoke about the debt repayment that was missed by Sunning, so Oak Tree Capital took over Inter Milan, and that they may have to sell somebody. But I've never personally heard a single name for centre-back. My own choice was Mark Gay, but that didn't happen. Antonio Silva is another one I think could be brilliant, but I haven't heard a thing. Don't know anything, Rabadon, mate. And on Anthony Gordon, yes. Actually, let me just read you something that... Where was it? Was it this one? Yeah. So the Echo posted this a while ago. It says, Liverpool take first step in Anthony Gordon transfer. It goes on to talk about how Arne Slot has moving on to players like Tyler Morton, Beck, James McConnell, Clark, Doak were all viable options, but that Anthony Gordon remains a top target, and they came close to completing a deal earlier this summer. Newcastle found themselves economically burdened, but they still need to sell, and that's Eddie Howe's own words. So it could happen this summer, but I'm not aware of anything imminent. At least, I said, I'm not aware of anything imminent. One second. Craig, love the work, my friend. Do you know what happened to Rio Nyamoha? Yeah, as far as I'm aware, mate, that's all gone to plan. There was a 5-step... I hate this word investigation, but that's genuinely the word that was being undertaken. I think Fabrizio Romano was the first one to speak about that. I've seen pictures that suggest he's already been training at Liverpool-based facility, shall we say. So, to the best of my understanding, that's done. But we haven't seen an official confirmation from the club. Yeah, but so, as far as I'm aware, it's done, though. Phil said, Bobby Clark looking like he may go to Leipzig. No, Salzburg, mate, Salzburg. Right branded clubs, wrong particular one. Yeah, it looks like Pep Linders wants to bring him in there. Dave O.C. Kopp was saying that they're getting closer to a deal. So I don't have anything on that myself, so I'm just, trusting what Dave is writing on that. Heard anything on Chiesa? Tommy, this is the one this summer, bro, that confuses the hell out of me. So Federico Chiesa can't be given away at this point, it looks like. His price tag has been dropped twice. I thought Spurs were interested at one point, but they've now spent a lot of money on Solanke. And there's talk that you could get Federico Chiesa for about £13 million. I know he's got a sketchy injury record. He's 25. Surely he could do a job for somebody at that price tag. Astonished. I mean, I'd like us to buy him just to give cover for Salah and the front line just in case for the summer or for the season. And if he has a good season, then you could flog him on next summer if you don't want him for a profit. But either way, I'm genuinely astonished that we haven't seen somebody come in and buy him. Thiago Motta told him, I think, and 2 or 3 other players that they were surplus to requirements. So yeah, I don't know, mate. It's a weird one. Is it confirmed Carvalho was sold? Well, it's confirmed from the point of view of the medicals booked, the 2 clubs have agreed a fee, but the medical hasn't been conducted and the contract hasn't been signed yet. But the deal's agreed between the clubs, the players agreed his package. It's just time to get through the medical, and once the medical's done, the deal will be confirmed. So unless something drastically wrong shows up in the medical, which I can't imagine because he's had a good pre-season of that with us, then yes, that deal's done. Nazar said, appreciate you working on your days off, mate. Oh, mate, look, it never feels like work, is what I keep saying, Nazar. I look forward to these as much as I hope you guys do as well. What was the next one? Any reports of Ibu potentially being sold? Not that I can... The only thing I've seen reported was that so far Slot isn't fully convinced. And I can understand that, because he did have a shaky end to the last campaign. He did nothing in the Euros with France. And he's looked a little bit shaky to me in the few minutes we've seen him in pre-season. I do wonder if he's going to be able to be as brave and trustworthy in possession, playing out from the back, as maybe Arne Slot would want. But it would just be madness to start going and selling centre-backs now when we need to add to the ranks. If you don't judge Canade is good enough, okay, revisit this in January maybe or next summer. But I certainly don't see would there be any rush to move the lad out the door now. Let him have a chance to prove himself, because we know when Canade is on form, he's a very good centre-back. So give him the opportunity. Craig, did you see Team Ireland running the Olympics in track and field? Yes, 4th place, mate, in the 4x400 relay. Very unfortunate, just pipped by Great Britain. America absolutely ran away with it. But yeah, I've been watching a few bits and pieces of the closing day of the athletics. So, was selling Carvalho the correct call? Very, very close, this one. So far, we've had 3,200 votes, and it's 52% of you guys say yes, it was the correct call to sell him. 48% say no, it was not the correct call to sell him. So right, let's have a little recap through what's been written in the media today, and then I'll recap what I've been told. So, a whole load of stuff. The Daily Express, in their Saturday newspaper, said Liverpool could still snatch 2 forwards this summer, as well as the £51 million capture of Martín Zubimendi. Lewis Kumas, like we reported last night, signed a new contract at the club and completed a season-long loan move to Stoke City. This came in from the Sociedad side, from that Mikel Rek guy, that said Real Sociedad are not ruling out the possibility of a sell-on clause in the Zubimendi deal for some future earnings should Liverpool move him on. Again, reiterating what I told you previously as well, Sociedad have made Martín Zubimendi an offer to be the highest paid player in the club's history. Again, I believe he's turned that down. Liverpool are now named as the most watched club in the Premier League, with a global audience of 471 million last season, breaking audience records along the way. That was posted by the club itself. So again, Liverpool Football Club posted, we've officially been named the most watched club in the Premier League with a global audience of 471 million last season, breaking audience records along the way. So again, the club going in the right direction in that regard. This made me laugh earlier on, because it's kind of been written like it's a brand new story. So the Echo have wrote to say, Liverpool set to take offers for Wataru Endo. And they quote Football Insider as the ones who are breaking the story that Liverpool are open to offers for Wataru Endo. Ironically, unless I've lost my goddamn mind, I mentioned this and David Lynch mentioned this at least a week ago. But of course, the Echo would rather stick pins in their balls than credit Anfield Agenda for anything, because, I don't know, they just have this insistence on pretending like we don't exist. But as I said to you guys a week ago, that's always been the case with Toro Endo. And people who are at the live show will tell you they were there in person last Sunday when David Lynch said that Wataru Endo was being told that he wasn't going to be called upon this season at Liverpool, and that he can move on if the offer comes in. There's some crowd of chancers, I swear to God, they should concentrate more on correcting the grammar and spelling mistakes in their own stories. I read a story the other day that said Liverpool have 2 players who've gone out on loan for the season, and they completely forgot about the third player who they actually reported on going on loan. It's mad. I don't know. Then we got confirmation from Paul Joyce about the package worth 27.5 million all in for Carvalho going to Brentford. More stuff coming out then about Sociedad maybe looking to negotiate a sell-on clause for Zubimendi. Then we got news from Liverpool or LFC Transfer Room who said Liverpool are aware that Valencia need to strike a big deal before the end of the transfer window, and that's why they're confident they can get Georgi Mamardashvili for less than they're asking for. 2 offers have now been rejected, but it's not sure who they're from, as Newcastle are also said to be interested. So again, this will be an end of the window thing if we do go and sign that goalkeeper from Valencia. I didn't know about the offer, so full credit to whoever it was that LFC Transfer Room were talking to there. But yeah, I believe that's one that we may see happen if we've enough time. Then we had Fabrizio Romano saying the funds from the sale of Fabio Carvalho will go towards the purchase of Martín Zubimendi. So again, I would ask for anyone that has doubts or, you know, still isn't sure about the deal. We've got journalist after journalist all talking about the same thing. You know, why would Fabrizio say the money would go towards the Zubimendi deal if we didn't feel like the Zubimendi deal was going to happen? Plettenberg last night said that the player has informed Sociedad that he wants to move. Again, I get it, it's frustrating, but this, in my opinion, is nowhere near what we seen last year with Caicedo and Lavia. This is just a frustrating delay on a deal that is going to happen. Just finished work. What have I missed? Said Joe Manning. So, Joe, my information is that Zubimendi is coming. I don't have any information on the financial side of it. I don't have any information on when we can expect a breakthrough in those negotiations between Liverpool and Sociedad. But for me, 100%, the player wants to come to Liverpool. You know, I'm getting my information from the Spanish side of this. But you're all right to be cautious until the deal's done. Absolutely. But, you know, I'm pretty confident in it right now. I'm also frustrated. I can't lie. I'm really, really frustrated about how we're sitting here on the 10th of August without a player signed. That's a piss take. And that's just not good enough. Because the league starts next week, not when the transfer window closes. So we don't have the luxury of having a slow start. If we want to be contenders this year, well, technically we have the easiest opening 5 games of any of the Premier League clubs according to the Athletics' own analysis. So we got to hit the ground running. And to do that, we need players, quite frankly. Craig, if we sell Carvalho, I'm going to cry. It's done, Jessica. It's just a medical that needs to take place. Deals agreed. Medical, I think someone said, is booked. The first part of the medical. Yeah, done deal. Liverpool 17.5% sell-on clause. £27.5 million package including add-ons. Just done bar the medical. Deirdre Drake Best said, good transfer window, be Martín Zubimendi, Piero Hincapié and Boris Alper Yilmaz. I don't know where we're at with that Yilmaz stuff. Honestly, the only stuff I've seen about that was kind of coming from Turkey. I've no idea if we're interested in him or not. I do know that there's still legs in the Gordon stuff for this summer. So, you know, wait and see. But look, if we want to speak in facts, the fact of the matter is that we are once again on pins and needles in a transfer window where we badly need to get stuff sorted, and as of now, nothing is done. That is a piss take, and that is a good enough reason for any fan to be concerned. Whether you're like me and you've got full faith in Edwards to get this deal done, I don't like that we are here now this stressed, because we've 2 games tomorrow. We should be talking about those, looking forward to those. But no, as usual, we're left just being tortured here to some degree, trying to figure out what on earth is going on in the transfer window. It's not good enough. We shouldn't be sitting here in August trying to frantically get stuff sorted. Do you think we'll be able to get Mark Gay, realistically speaking? Would we be able to? Potentially, but again, I'm going to credit this to David Lynch, who told me that Liverpool looked at him, but David Lynch said that from his understanding, and I think it's on one of the episodes we recorded together if you get a chance to go back and listen to it, I think he said his lack of aerial prowess was one of the factors that, with us playing a high line and us needing players to be commanding aerially, was one of the things that counted against him when Liverpool considered the transfer. So no, I don't think that one's going to happen. Mark Fitchin, thank you so much, Mark, for your super chat. You're very kind indeed. Said, my views on the Solanke move. I think this is a huge risk from Spurs. So if you take out last season, in Dominic Solanke's Premier League career, he's never had a season with more than 4 goals in it in the Premier League. Last year was the outlier. And Spurs have gone and paid all of the clause, 65 million quid for Solanke off one good season. That's a risk. It's a big, big risk. And if we took that risk at that price, I wouldn't be happy. So, if I'm Bournemouth, I can't believe how much money they've just gotten. If I'm a Spurs fan, I'm probably praying rather than expecting. But yeah, it's mad money for one season. So that Blue King shy, they don't need to know the player's decision because the player's already given them the decision. The player wants to come to Anfield. So that whole thing about pending the player's decision is crap. I don't know where they're getting that information from, but the player's already told Liverpool he wants to move. So that doesn't tally. Cody Griffith said, Craig, I can't believe he's gone. I thought he was a baller. Any buyback clause? For who? Carvalho, no buyback clause, but a 17.5% sell-on clause. I thought it was 15, but the chat corrected me at 17.5% sell-on clause. Craig, are you still 85% confident the Zubimendi deal? No, I'm not, Ryan. I'm 95% confident now, mate. Genuinely, I'm convinced on Zubimendi. There's no... like, I would never say 100% on anything because it's football, but I can't see how this doesn't happen. Based off him wanting it, it's just a matter of getting an agreement with them on the best structure for us, and that's where this deal is at, in my opinion. If we sell or loan both Endo and Bajcetic, then surely we are very short. We floated this in the chat amongst us all last night as just a suggestion because there's no indication to believe that this is at all happening. But if you were Sociedad right now and you knew that Liverpool were willing to loan out Bajcetic and that you were going to lose Zubimendi, if I'm them, I'm all over trying to bring in Stefan Bajcetic for the season on loan, because it could be a masterstroke. Because we've seen in the full season he had, or the end of season, sorry, he had 2 campaigns ago, at a tender young age, how good he was. So if I'm them, I'm asking Liverpool to include that in any deal for Zubimendi. And if you're Liverpool and you're going to move him on loan, I think Sociedad would be a fine club for him to go to. Obviously, he knows Spanish football. We bought him from Celta Vigo for about £250,000 or €300,000. So, you know, it'd be nice to ease that tension a little bit by sending him over there. But of course, I don't know if Liverpool would view that as the right move for him. Endo, it's just down to Arne Slot not really rating Endo in the system and the way he wants to play it. He obviously wants a little bit different that Jurgen wanted from the number 6, and he doesn't think Endo's that guy, and you have to respect that. I respect he's made the definitive decision. Nothing worse than just keeping people around for the sake of it if you don't fancy them. And sometimes I think one of the criticisms we had of Jurgen was he could be too loyal at times. Slot's just come in and made an early call on him. So, you know, he's still here because we haven't sold him yet. So somebody has to pay the money for us to move him on. But again, you would imagine, like the original poster said, if these guys are being moved out, you're going to have players in there to play, and that's where Zubimendi comes in. So I don't know how to pronounce this name, and I don't want to butcher it, so I apologise. Your comment's up on screen, I'm going to read it out. Said, "Hi Craig, when Zubimendi comes in," I like what you did there, my friend, well in, "don't you think we might be more vulnerable without a proper destroyer in the base of this midfield?" No. Not if that's not the type of midfielder that Arne Slot feels he needs for his system. I mean, let me flip the script to you another way. Do you not think it's going to be quite sexy seeing Zubimendi and Alexis McAllister in that midfield? Maybe with Szoboszlai or Gravenberch or Elliott or Jones on top of them as well. I mean, that is a midfield duo that if I was lining up against as an opposing player, I'd be damn concerned about, because it's pretty impressive. One European champion, one World and Copa America champion. Both of them, 24, 25. Pressing machines as well. Just class personified. It's a sexy midfield. Christopher, thank you for your super chat, mate. You didn't put in a comment, but thank you nonetheless. Mark Fitchin, let me grab up your comment, bro. "Sorry for being inquisitive. What's with the Lucasade deal? How does it help us as a club?" So for those of you who missed that information, I think maybe yesterday or the day before, Liverpool have signed another deal with Lucasade to come on board as the club's official energy drink supplier, whatever. But what's the point of it? Money. Money, and of course, the crossover with any brand as big as Google Pixel, as example, or Lucasade, or these blue chip companies. It's good for, I guess, cross-pollination, to have them attached to you, you attached to them. But mainly it comes down to money and improving your marketing reach. And this was a brand that we'd already worked with previously. I'm not sure when the last deal finished with Lucasade. I can't remember. But yeah, new deal signed on the club's website. Probably got more information than I can give you on it. Right, so I don't think I've said this all night so far, but if you haven't, please do drop a like for me. We've managed to get 1,000 likes every night this week on the live stream. So if you haven't, please do hit that like button. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button as well. I have a little goal for the channel. I'm going away on holidays on the 5th of September. And I hope that we can get somewhere between 270 and 275,000 subscribers by that point. So if you haven't hit the subscribe button, please do. And don't forget to check out our Clips channel as well. Right, super chat here. Let me get it up on screen. Joe Rogan. Should you not be busy, Joe Rogan, arguing with Donald Trump again? Did you see Trump going in on him last night? Because he backed RFK, I think it was. Anyway, that's politics. We don't do that. Sorry. Hi, Craig. Love the channel, mate. Keep up your work because you make us all happy. Wish you the best of future for you and your family. Appreciate that so much, mate. Thank you. Means a lot. One more super chat to get to, but before I do, I just want to follow on from a conversation we had on the stream last night. I've already emailed the Hot Water Comedy Club to try and source out a couple of dates in November for a show over in Liverpool. So my hope is that we can figure out the dates we want for November, and we are going to put on a big ass show Carl Porter has already agreed to come on board again and do a stand-up set for us at the show. We're going to have a musical act on board this time to get the place bouncing, and we're going to go bigger, bolder and better than the last show. So I'm hoping over the next couple of weeks we can announce something there. We just need to book in the date. But November is what we're looking like to return over to Liverpool for that winter show like we promised last night. Tickets for this one are probably going to be about a £5 more expensive, by the way, than the last one. The last tickets we put them on as cheap as we could because we didn't know how it was all going to go. We wanted to make it as accessible to everyone as we could. These ones we're probably going to have to sell them at about £20. But it's going to be an incredible show. Honestly, we are going to make sure you guys leave there going, the fuck? It's going to be good. Right. Do you think Slot gets questions about Zubimendi tomorrow? Well, of course. 100%. You know, he might want them. He might be able to bat them away, but of course he's going to get them. Deirdre Drake Best said on a Saturday. The Friday and Saturday night are the two nights that we're looking to try and get one of, Deirdre. So yes, we're hoping for a Friday or a Saturday night. That's what I'm trying. That's why we couldn't go for December, because we knew in December obviously the venue would be packed out with all their own festivities and shows and stuff that they'd have building up to Christmas. Sociedad are after Valencia's Javi Guerrera as a Zubi replacement, according to Brian. Thank you for that, Brian. What's the latest on Zubimendi, said John McDonnell. So, it depends what you mean by the latest. It's down to the payment structure at this point, John. The player wants to come to Liverpool. I can say that with every confidence. And it's just down to how much money. And how it, not how much money, well, maybe how much money, how it's structured. And I haven't got a clue on that. I've no idea from the Liverpool side or the Sociedad club side how those negotiations over money are going. Some sources in Spain have suggested that Sociedad are trying to work in a sell-on clause should Liverpool move him on, so they might get some money down the line. If they did that, then that would in theory mean that Liverpool don't have to pay the whole release clause in one lump sum, because that isn't in the release clause. So Liverpool would use that as a way to renegotiate the structure of the payment. Other reports are saying Liverpool are ready to trigger the clause. Fabrizio Romano said that Liverpool will use the money from the sale of Fabio Carvalho to put towards Martín Zubimendi. So that's kind of where we're at. It's just waiting for that structure to be agreed between the two clubs, and then I think things progress. Rian Moore said, Craig, do you have to be over 18 to go to your shows? In the Hot Water Comedy Club, if we do that again, no, you don't. We just have to be off stage, and you guys under 18 off the premises by 10 o'clock. But we managed to do that the last time. We went on stage from about 7:15, and I think we were out of there by about 9:25, and then we were doing meet and greets outside. So no, it's going to be an all ages event, mate. The ones we did in Ireland, the licensing rules of the venues we were at meant we had to do over 18 shows. Andrew said, is it true we're going to sell Bobby Clark? Well, Dave O.C. Kopp reported that a deal with Salzburg is close, and there has been I think a 6 million offer rebuffed already from them. So it kind of does tally up with interest, but I don't know anything on it. I'm just taking what Dave O.C. said at face value. Latif said, happy Ori the show, keep it up. P.S. the Nigerian. Thank you, appreciate you, mate. Thank you for being in with us. Fabio Rowler, that name always makes me laugh, bro, when I see it pop up, because I still read it as Robbie Fowler in my head. Said, alright Craig, alright lads, seems to be a growing confidence surrounding the Zubimendi deal. Just curious, where was I on to Mr. Hunter? Great stream as always. Well, actually, yes, I have messaged Graham, but I haven't heard back. But I did drop Graham Hunter a message, yes, asking him if he got any information on this, but I haven't heard back from him. I've literally just checked again there, and I still haven't heard back from him. So he was certainly somebody I would always reach out to when we're talking about Spanish football, because You know, when you think Spanish football, Graham Hunter's name is right there as one of the best journalists in the Spanish market. But now, unfortunately, I haven't got anything from Graham on this one. Alex said, see, we agreed a fee with Salzburg. Have we? Again, this could be true, could not be true. I don't know, Alex, but it wouldn't be... I'd be amazed if there wasn't a buyback option in there for Liverpool on this deal with Bobby Clark, because I really like the kid. I think he's a very good footballer, and he's never looked out of place to me when he's come on and played for the senior team. So maybe you've seen something that I haven't got the news on yet, bro, but for me, I've not seen a confirmation, unless Dave's posted something new, maybe, I don't know. Manchester United signed 2 players today. What do you think of how slow Liverpool are being? Did they? Genuinely didn't know that. What do I think of Liverpool being so slow? It's frustrating. Of course it is. Like, whatever way we look at it, it's about to become Sunday the 11th of August and Liverpool still haven't signed a single player. 7-8 weeks into the window. 2.5, 3 weeks left in the window. The league starts next week, and we haven't signed a goddamn player. So whatever way you look at that, it's not good enough. And the old anxiety levels haven't been helped by it. But yeah. Dele and Matsuri signed the same day. Signed or deal agreed? Not that it really makes much of a difference, just curious. Genuinely interesting. And look, they have their own PSR concerns. You probably read the stories that were doing the rounds saying they got 2 exemptions during the COVID eras for their PSR requirements. So United are going to have to do a lot of selling as well at the end of the window. But look, they've got their own targets and they're going out there and they're bringing in the players in the positions they need. United fans must be happy about that. For me as a Liverpool fan right now, like everybody else, I'm just getting fed up waiting. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, sorry, Mark sent me something that just doesn't really make any sense to me, that. Rayad said, Zubi, Tony Silva from Benfica and Gordon. Oh, mate. That's a 10 out of 10 window for me right there. That's the cherry on the nipple. Incredible window that would be. Bajcetic is better than Zubimendi. Yeah, cool story. Might be, but there's no way in God's green earth we can say with any confidence right now that he is. And I love Stefan, and I think Stefan's going to be an incredible midfielder. But it's a bit of a bold statement to say that a player who hasn't kicked a football really in a year is better than a guy who's just been part of a team that won the Euros. It's a bold statement, mate. But I do like Stefan myself. Craig, check Owen's comment. I'm scrolling. Yeah, I still don't know what I'm supposed to be looking at. Yeah, sorry mate, no idea what I'm supposed to be looking at there. So, let's check back in on this poll, by the way. Was selling Fabio Carvalho the correct call? That's been up there since an hour ago. It's had 4,500 votes, and it's still really, really close. So do let us know. If you haven't had your say, do vote to let us know if you think the sale of Fabio Carvalho was the correct call from Liverpool. Do you believe we actually need a goalkeeper? Yes, I would say we need a goalkeeper. Whether we need a goalkeeper this minute or not, fair enough. But if Liverpool view Georgi Mamardashvili as the future. Because remember, he's only 23. So if Alisson even played 2 more years at Liverpool, maybe, I'm going to guess at how I see this unfolding if we signed him. A year on loan, Bournemouth has been mentioned. Then he comes in and competes with Alisson for the number 1 slot. And if he wins out that battle, you see Ali ease his way out at the end of a second season. Or maybe the club knows something we don't know, and maybe Ali has eyes on a big money move abroad down the line. I don't know. But all we know is that Liverpool rate this keeper very highly. There's a chance to get him from Valencia because of their financial issues. And if we have time and if Liverpool can do it, it's somebody who has been mentioned as being entirely possible. TOTT2KZ1 said, "Can I book my tickets now for the show? Cannot wait. Zubimendi will come. I have full confidence. Also looking forward to him wearing the number 14. Well, some other account have claimed he's going to wear the number 6. Now, on the number, I don't know. Haven't got a clue. I would guess maybe the number 14, as it was Alonso's number, but I can't speak to what number he may wear. But with regards to the show, mate, well, no, because the show hasn't been confirmed yet. So obviously we can't start selling tickets for a show that isn't officially booked in yet. So as soon as I hear back from the venue and we have a confirmed date on it, I promise you, mate, I'll make sure you can come and get a ticket. Yeah, I've already been trying to drum up the musical act. I've got Carl Porter, the comedian, on board again, and we're going to go even bigger this time when we come back to Liverpool because of how amazing the city was for the last show. Honestly, it fills me full of confidence, and I want to come on and put on an even better show. Craig, why would we get Mamardashvili when we already have Kelleher and Yaros? Well, Yaros is in the last year of his contract at the moment, so I don't know what the future holds there. Kelleher, as we know, may get a move away this summer if somebody, maybe Crystal Palace, come in and pay the money Liverpool want, and Kelleher decides that's the right option for him. So I guess Liverpool are future-proofing themselves. That's all I can say to you, mate. There could be a world where Kelleher stays for this season, Yaros is the number 3 and he departs in a year's time. Or there could be a world where Kelleher gets sold and Yaros becomes the number 2 for this season, and then Mamardashvili comes in after that. So it's always been the case that if we bought him, he would be going out on loan for the first year at least. Could I talk or give my opinion about Billy Comedio leaving on a permanent? Of course, Sam. My pleasure, mate. You know, when he broke through, Billy Comedio, I think he was getting special one-on-one, training and attention from Jurgen, and certainly he looked like he was going to have the career that Jarell Quansah is going to have now. So to see that kind of fall from grace, if you want, that quickly from a view to his future at Liverpool has been swift. Dundee is a big step down, but also at least it's a move for the kid that he can go and play football. But yeah, certainly a couple of years ago we wouldn't have thought that Billy Comedio wasn't going to make it at the level and would end up at a Dundee anyway. It's certainly been a mad couple of years. David said, partner with a company that reduces blood pressure. Honestly, this is kind of, I don't know if you're taking the piss at me or whatever, but genuinely, I had a whole load of medical tests done 2 weeks ago, and my blood pressure is absolutely perfect. My cholesterol's absolutely perfect. I do have to see a haematologist about my higher white blood cell count, which is an ongoing issue my entire life. But other than that, mate, I'm pretty good. Blood pressure is absolutely fine, amazingly. So yeah, I'm good on that front. Chris Chan said, apparently we're one of the richest. See, I don't think anyone's ever said we're one of the richest. I think they've said we're one of the most valuable, or one of the most... one of the highest clubs regarding turnover in the 7 to 750 million quid a year bracket, but we've never, that I'm aware of, or nobody's ever claimed that we're one of the richest clubs in the world. I certainly don't remember that language being used anywhere. What team do you think has had the best window so far? Said Jamal. Do you know what? This is kind of embarrassing, Jamal, but I haven't really paid too much attention to what other clubs have been doing in the window. I mean, obviously we wake up to the daily Chelsea transfer from Todd Bowley. United getting Lenny Yoro was a great get for them. I don't know much about Xerxes, so we'll see how he gets on. Arsenal getting Calafiori is a good piece of business. Spurs have taken a big risk on Solanke. Villa, I mean, good and bad stuff in their window, to be fair, but yeah, I'm more just pissed off, mate, that we're still here on August the 11th nearly now and not a damn signing to be had. It's just not good enough. TOTT2KC1 said, no, not good enough. Take my money now for the tickets. I'll pay £30 each for early booking and I'll buy you and Sabrina a drink. Final offer. Grand. Send me the money, mate, and I'll give you the tickets when they come on sale. No problem. If you want to overpay for them, I'm here to tout your ass around. No problem. Ben Sheenan, welcome to Anfield Agenda FC. Ben, thank you for joining us. What's this one? So Mark was saying to me that the own gentleman that was commenting was talking about links for Barcelona coming in for Diaz. I've no idea. Yeah, I've no idea. I'm not aware of any. I'm aware that Liverpool have been kind of almost expecting something on Diaz this summer, but I'm not aware of Barca having the money. You know, they got Dani Olmo done, and that was a big effort. They couldn't get the deal done for Nico Williams. So, yeah, I don't know. I haven't got a clue what's going on with regards to Lucho. But, with all the pursuit of Gordon, you would always imagine they expect somebody to go. Unless we're going to rejig the attack after Salah leaves and somebody shifting across to the right-hand side. Christopher Hallas, thank you. Craig, I'm not sure we're so far with the Zubimendi deal as we may think. He was playing for Sociedad yesterday. I'm not sure he's made his mind up yet. So, yeah, he played 25 minutes for Sociedad yesterday against Union Berlin. He had no choice but to play that game unless he wanted to pull a sickie, which again wouldn't go down well with the hometown fans in the city he's from. My information as of, say, 7 o'clock is that he has informed everybody inside this deal that he's going to Liverpool, and Liverpool and Real Sociedad are trying to figure out a deal, whereas Liverpool don't want to pay the full release clause in one lump sum, and then there's been various reports of sell-on clauses or paying over the odds and structuring it over a longer period. That much I don't know anything about, but I can tell you that I've been told by 3 different people, all on the Spanish side, that the player wants to follow in Xabi Alonso's footsteps and come to Liverpool. But that doesn't really mean anything until it's done and dusted, right? But I'm really calm about it. Harry said, what front 3 would you go with everyone fit? To start the season, for the first, let's say, 5 games, Gakpo left, Salah right, Darwin centre. But we may see a situation, because Darwin hasn't had all that much time, where we see Gakpo centre, Diaz left and Salah right. You know, it depends on how the manager feels they're looking, how sharp they are, and how far he thinks they're away from being at their peak. So for me, if I was picking 3 forwards, Gakpo left, Salah right, and Darwin centre. Adam Cooper said, thanks for the stream. It's Steph's birthday on Tuesday and we're going out, so I won't be in the live stream, but we're both looking forward to the Liverpool show. Gives me time to find your treat. Ooh, I like a treat. Thank you again. I don't want to get too ahead of myself with the Liverpool show, mate. I have to make sure we get it booked in with the venue first. But I've already started putting the show together in my head about how it's going to look, and it's going to blow the doors off the last show. Do you think we seal up the deal tomorrow? I mean, no, from the point of view of there's no way he's coming over doing medicals and all that stuff that quickly, but do you think we get to here we go? Maybe. It's there's always been a deadline given for this weekend. Whether it was Sunday, Monday, there's always been a rough deadline put out there that decisions have to be made this weekend. So you're going to see a very quick progression once that agreement is made behind the scenes between the clubs on the structure. So there's no way you waste all this time without the player wanting to come. There's no way. You just don't do it. Like if you're Edwards and Hughes. Last year we got Coben madness and we shit the bed, quite frankly. Do I watch rugby? No, it's Six Nations, World Cups, maybe. That's about it. I think we should sign a backup for Salah. I agree. Daz, I've always said that, you know. I would love to have had somebody competing with Mohamed Salah for that right side position this season, giving us, you know, a battle for a starting position, giving us cover, and then we don't have a player maybe who's coming in that has to settle into the team because they would have already had a season with the team. So we may still see that happen. You know, a couple of reports said Liverpool want 2 forwards before the window shut. I mean, ambitious to say the least. Definitely Norwegian bias. Antonio Nusa, thoughts? Definitely Irish ignorance, but don't know much about him, mate. Sorry. Don't mean that to be rude. Just take that as my own lack of knowledge rather than anything else, Philip. Sorry. Morton Johnston, thank you, mate, for 11 months of membership with us. Really appreciate that, and said you appreciate the community. Thank you, bro. The community certainly appreciates your support as well. Heavy Metal D, how are you, mate? Said, evening all, hope all is well. Does it feel like this has been the most annoying transfer window we've had in a while now? Yes. 100% yes. Look, my thoughts on the owners haven't changed. They're cheap. Nothing is going to change my mind on that. Signing Martín Zubimendi is basic bitch stuff. Like, it's the minimum. We still have more deals to get done. So I can only repeat what I've said so many times. The fact that we are sitting here and just about to go into Sunday the 11th of August, and we are the only club in the Portuguese League, the Spanish League, the German League, the Premier League, and another one of the top European leagues that has not signed a goddamn player is a joke. There's no other way to soften those words. It's a joke. And even when we get Zubimendi done, I still feel we'll get the .. stuff for the other things. So I feel like we're going to have a happy moment in the window and a frustrating end to the window, unless they really, really move very quickly on other deals. But right now, I'm still unhappy with where we're at. The progress in this window, it's just not been good enough. Sydney said squad is good enough. Is it? Well, then why did we win the league last year? Genuine question. You say squad is good enough. I say if everybody stays fit, which is not going to happen, maybe. But, you know, look at last season. We had a ton of injuries and we fell away at the end of the season. So where was the good enough squad there? That was on for 4 trophies and ended up with a League Cup. So we had injuries, right, and they're magically not going to happen this season. all of a sudden players are just not going to pick up injuries now. After a shortened summer where we had Olympics, we had international tournaments, players only getting 3 weeks rest, straight back into a busy season, and no one's going to be injured or fatigued at any point. Come on. Don't be naive. You need to have strength and depth to make sure we don't get burnout and we don't have a situation where we fall away like we did again last year. So the squad's decent, but there are glaring holes in the squad that need to be addressed. And if it isn't, we're going to be having the same conversation again next summer. What's your view on the Rabiot links? It's horseshit, quite frankly. It's just not happening. Yeah, there's no chance whatsoever that Adrien Rabiot signs for Liverpool Football Club. Again, we've had 3 chances to sign this kid. 2 of them I'm aware of on free transfers, and we didn't bother. I don't see why we take an older version now when we're looking for somebody that can come in for the future. That has to be like 24, 25, not Rabiot. Red is the colour, 1892. Welcome to Anfield Agenda FC. Appreciate your support. And look, I've never understood these Rabiot links because 2 weeks ago it was reported in a couple of papers that he turned us down and he was going to United, right? You all probably remember reading those stories. Even then I laughed and said, no way he turned us down because we don't want them. Spoke with David Lynch about it. Absolutely same thought process. No way Liverpool want Adrien Rabiot. Go on to Twitter and ask anybody on there even do they think Liverpool want Rabiot, and they'll make jokes about us blocking his mother's phone number because his mother is his agent or represents him in these negotiations. It's just absolute nonsense. We have a good enough attack, good enough midfield if we get Zubimendi, good enough defence and good enough keepers. We absolutely don't have a good enough defence. That's not true. You know, look at our defence last season, and I think you find outside of Virgil van Dijk, I'm talking centrally here, by the way, full-back positions we can have a conversation about, but absolutely we need a centre-back. I mean, why all of a sudden are we okay at centre-back when we weren't last season? Because Sepp van den Berg ain't going to be it. So, again, we're not good enough there. We need one more top-quality centre-back, whether that's a young centre-back who will grow into the role or not, we need one. Others would argue we need a full-back. You know, I'm open to that conversation as well because I don't think Costas is going to be it, and Robbo has a big season to come back from last year. On the right side, if Trent signs a new deal with him and Bradley, more than enough cover. If Gomez stays, again, that gives us a bit of cover in both full-back positions. But if Joe goes, that's like losing out on 1.5 players, in my opinion. Kwanzaa had decent numbers last season. Kwanzaa's legit. Kwanzaa's brilliant. But any top-notch club playing that wants to win Champions League, Premier League and domestic cups needs minimum 4 top-notch centre-backs, probably 5. And Virgil's not getting younger. We were lucky with Virgil last year that he didn't pick up many injuries. He was bulletproof and he had a great season. Kanade, there's already reports to suggest that Arne Slot is unsure of what he's seen so far from him. After that, you know, where are we at then? Because Gomez, I don't really want him playing as centre-back. Feel far more comfortable with him in a full-back position. And midfield, if we get Zubimendi, fully agree, we're well stocked there. And up top, I've never really understood the big panic to sign a forward because, like many of you have said, we're pretty well stocked in that for now. Of course, Salah's going to move on, but right now we've loads of options there. Yeah, I agree. You've got Diogo Jota, Darwin Núñez, Cody Gakpo, Lucho Diaz, Mohamed Salah. I agree. We're going to see Ben Doak go on loan by the looks of it as well. We've sold Fabio. Craig, do we know the fee Palace will take for Gay? 60 to 65 million pound is the numbers that have been doing the rounds. You said we should stump it up. I would have agreed with you. But my understanding from speaking with David Lynch and from reading a couple of other bits is that he's no longer under consideration by Liverpool, and Newcastle have been trying to get a deal done for him. I don't know how far along they are or aren't on it, to be honest with you, but I was disappointed because I would have liked Mark Gay myself. I think he's a good centre-back. Do you think we can get Hincapié or not? So I know that Leverkusen had given a deadline to Bayern and Jonathan Tah to agree or come to an agreement on a deal there. So it always felt like Tah was the centre-back that they were willing to move on. Honestly, I don't know anything around our centre-back search. I couldn't give you one name right now that I personally know of that's of interest to Liverpool, other than the ones we see reported. Would I be happy to swap Endo for Ederson? Of course. God. Yes. I would, yes. Look, I do feel a little bit sorry for Wataru Endo. I don't feel he's necessarily done anything wrong. He's just been unfortunate that he signed for Jurgen and then Jurgen announced he was leaving and the new manager doesn't really seem to fancy him as much. So, from that perspective, it's been unlucky for Endo. Craig, if Liverpool signed Gordon, Ederson, Nico, Barella and Bastoni and Capia, it's just not going to happen. Like, literally, Bastoni, no chance. Barella, no. That window was passed. Ederson, unless Zubimendi spectacularly falls apart, that's not going to happen. Gordon, yes, potential for that. Endo was always a stopgap. Oh, I agree, Chris, but like a very short stopgap, mate, right? You know, he was brought in, signed. If we go back to last season when he was signed, the whole thing was that Liverpool gave him, what was it, a 3-year deal or something? Or because they wanted to show that he wasn't just for the now, that he had a couple of seasons in him. But I guess a change of coach and these things can change quickly. But yeah, of course, at his age, he was never going to be one for the long term. Multi-gamer said Mamaradashvili, Antonio Silva, Aitnuri, Zubimendi and Chiesa would be my ideal window. Swap out Chiesa for Anthony Gordon and that, mate, would have me dancing naked around the garden with clamps on certain areas. Yeah, that would be incredible. You know, very unrealistic, but incredible. Atalanta are not selling any players this season. Ederson's not for sale. Yeah, but he is though, and they would. They've already put a price tag out for Coop Miners, but nobody's paid the 60 million. Ederson 40 to 45 would have got it done. I mean, you can argue back at me if you want, but I'm just telling you the information that's been out there all summer. Craig, don't you think left back's also important? Yes, definitely, mate, but I'm just trying to be realistic with the time left in the window. So I'd like Aitnuri, same as everybody else. I think if we sold Costas, brought in Aitnuri, that would be one hell of an upgrade. And put a bit more pressure on Robbo. So I totally get you. But, you know, my two priorities in this window were centre-back and central midfielder. Outside of that, forward and full-back, I get you. I understand where you're coming from. Why are fans wanting a full new team? Are they? I mean, we haven't had a single signing yet, mate, so, you know, fans are kind of... We're always going to be optimists, like, and we're always going to be greedy as fans. Some more than others. Some will want us to sign 6 or 7 players every summer. For me, this was a 2 to 3 player window. Without losing any first teamers. Fringe players, fair enough, but without losing any first teamers, this was a 2 to 3 player window for me. Have I heard anything about Manchester City? No. Other than, do you mean about the charges? No. November, isn't it? That's going to be held and heard. Oh, sorry, heard and held. Haven't got a clue what happens there. I mean, I know what I think. I'm sure the same as you, but no, we won't hear anything about that until probably 6 weeks maybe after that hearing. What are my thoughts on Fabrizio Romano? But I don't know him on a personal level, so I have to put that out there. I don't like him. I'll tell you why I don't like him. Every other journalist that works with an outlet either covers a certain patch or has knowledge of it. What I found with Fabrizio Romano is that I use the phrase gun for hire, in that he'll say whatever you want him to say as long as you pay the money. You know, there is the here we go link that you can put in the message you want, pay for it, and he reads. So I view him as a mouthpiece for whatever narrative either a selling club or a buying club or an agent wants to put out there into the market. There is absolutely no doubt that he has an incredible access to agents and information on some deals. I just don't like him, and I just don't like what he does to the transfer window, because I don't like manipulation. I don't like when clubs manipulate people. I don't like when journalists manipulate people. I just don't like it. I find the whole thing, when you're selling here we go Mbappe fucking t-shirts for 50 odd quid a pop, I mean, yeah, that's my take on him. The cultural phenomenon, absolutely, I'm sure a very wealthy fella, but just I would describe greasy as the way I would view him personally. What do you think of playing Gordon left wing and putting Diaz right wing? No problem with that. You know, there's a modern day fascination with inverted wingers, but, you know, it doesn't have to be that way. And we've seen before, Sadio Mane was a right winger until he wasn't. Until Mo came in, then he became a left winger, and he did quite well on the left hand side. So I'm sure that we could find a way to make those three players in Diaz, Gordon and Gakpo work if that was the three we were left with in the wide areas. Craig, I can't see top of the league when I search on YouTube. Okay, but respectfully, that's got nothing to do with me. I'm not trying to be smart, or I don't get where you're going with it. I'm not involved with top of the league. We gave it to Ben. As part of our agreement with Ben, when we let Ben go from the channel, we gave him top of the league. We gave him the channel with the subscribers. It was always his intellectual property for the name, so that was his anyway. And we told him to crack on with it, but it's got nothing to do with me, so I can't give you the answer, mate. I know Ben's not well at the minute. I think he's either got COVID or a very bad cold. But other than that, mate, it's not a channel that's under our umbrella anymore, so I don't know anything about it. You'd be selling Here We Go t-shirts tomorrow for 50 quid if I could. No, I wouldn't. Do you see me selling anything now for 50 quid? I put on the cheapest show of anybody from any of the fan content channels that you're going to see. When we start selling the mugs at 12 quid, they're the cheapest we can make them be. So, fuck you. Quite simply. I know some of you little freaks out there think that money's the be all and end all of everything in life, but for me, my reputation, how I treat my community and other people, is worth a lot more to me than trying to get a fast buck from selling a 50 quid t-shirt that I wouldn't be able to sleep at night knowing costs about 12 quid to make. So, not a hope. So you don't know me one fucking bit if you think that's the way I operate, mate. It isn't. How would you feel if I told you that we lost money on 3 of the 4 shows we've done so far to date because we made the tickets so cheap? Sound like the type of person who's money grabbing? How would you feel if I told you that we personally flew people in from Poland for the show? Sound like money grabbing? Donated money to food banks? gave away 50 tickets across all the shows to people who couldn't afford to come. So fuck you when you think that that's how I'm wired. I'm not. Community is important to me. Legacy is important to me. Reputation is important to me. And the people who put me where I am, doing right by them, is important to me. So no, mate, you'll never see me having a big 300 or 400% markup on anything to do with my name, because I don't want it. It's not what I want to be remembered for. These are the same type of weirdos that think Trump's brilliant when he's so I just baffled. More money isn't necessarily always a good thing. Being happy and content is a good thing. James Gibney, welcome to Anfield Agenda FC. Would bringing in Gordon mean maybe Lucho is possibly for sale with his desire to play for Barca? Let me just grab that up on screen for you, Mark. Sorry, bro. Should have got that up before I read it out. That's on me, mate. 1 second. So, weirdly, I've always felt that Liverpool are open to an offer for Diaz this summer, but I've never understood as to why. You know, okay, Barcelona, as you've said, if they came in hard, then maybe you'd say, all right, that's his dream club. But he's on a really low wage. I think he's like maybe 60, 70 grand a week, something like that. He's got 3 years left on his deal. He's in his prime right now at 27. He had a very good Copa America with Colombia. So I've always been a bit confused as to why there's been that almost acceptance that he's going to move on this summer. I've never understood it. Mark, how are you, mate? Said, Craig, me again. Any new changes from last season for VAR rules? One more. Do people feel guilty about buying cheap knockoff shirts? So, on the VAR stuff, not that I've heard. Nothing new other than semi-automated offside technology. The knockoff shirts things, I don't think people should feel guilty at all. You know, this is the way I view things in life, right? If I can afford to pay for something, I pay for it. So like if I can afford a Sky TV subscription and I want to use Sky, I'll pay for it. But if it was a decision between buying my son the real Liverpool jersey or buying him the fake jersey and paying a bill for the household, well then I'm going to do what's right for my family, and I would never judge anybody for that. For me, clubs and brands are pushing people during a cost of living crisis to buy knockoff shirts. Everybody would love to buy their kids or themselves the real shirts, but asking somebody to spend £125 for a player version of a football shirt during a cost of living crisis is nothing short of disgusting. Even the normal one at £80 is an absolute piss take when we all know they cost buttons to make. So I'd never judge anybody for it from their own financial circumstances, mate. You do what you need to do for your family, and clubs in general need to stop being so damn greedy over these things. Colin Blackshaw, one of the mugs out. Again, mate, haven't even got round to thinking about how we sell them or whatever like that. Just been flat out non-stop since I came back from Liverpool. Work. No idea. Soon, within the next 2 to 4 weeks probably. Yeah, I'm still trying to get the price down, actually, to be honest with you. I'm still trying to get them even cheaper if I can for everybody, but it looks like about £12.50 as we say here right now, plus the shipping. Benjamin, thank you for your super chat, mate. Appreciate you. Just said, yo, Craig, appreciate you coming in, mate. The markup must be insane. Oh, it's disgusting. Like, I get grief sometimes from people saying to me, why aren't you wearing Liverpool stuff on stream? Well, the answer is because I won't buy the fake ones for myself because I can afford to buy the real ones, but I haven't wanted to because it's a piss take. Now, full disclosure, through the company I bought this season's away shirt because, well, you know, better buying it through the company than giving it to the tax man, but I'll wear that shirt. But ultimately, I made a decision that I'm not parting with my own personal money and paying that ridiculous price. Nor will I do it for my child. So it's madness, and they're pushing people into that market. Right, we're at 10:30. I can't believe I've been on 2 hours already. I've not seen anything or had anything come in that suggests to me there's news coming. Colin, you are a member, mate. Yes, sorry, I may have missed it, mate, but I did see that you are a member, and thank you. There you are, Colin Watson. Thank you, mate. Appreciate you. Craig, that club deals for it's not bad numbers involved in that deal, LFC Shankly. I mean, I'd love to know what wages the is going to be on at United, but not bad on the face of it. Is the green screen permanent since Ben is gone? Again, I don't know what you mean by that question. So we've always used green screens even before Ben was involved. And I'll use green screens in the future when we move into a real studio space as well. I just love green screens. And Connor is capable of making the backgrounds and backdrops and stuff. So green screen for me, mate, will always be the way forward for this channel. Zubimendi or Ugarte? 1,000,000% Zubimendi, mate. Ugarte is just not the right fit for us. 100%, yeah. Zubimendi every day of the week. Is it true the Klopp's going to Man City? Yeah, nailed on, mate. 100% happening. Definitely, because that makes loads of sense, doesn't it? Yeah, they're doing a swap. Guardiola's coming here as well. And what they're doing is they're just negotiating how many of Man City's charges we take on board then as part of the deal. Second, Benjamin, let me get your comment up here. A bit on the money aspect. Our laboratory to get trusted clients and to provide faith. We made significant losses on jobs. Money isn't everything. Stability of family is more. Absolutely. For me, mate, I look at it this way. I'm probably never going to be a millionaire, but I get to come on and talk about Liverpool with amazing people every day for a job. And I've worked as a taxi driver. I've worked in a car park. I've worked as a DJ. I've worked in an online gaming company. I've worked in loads of shitty jobs. And I get to do this for a living. So I've no need to be greedy. Even with the mugs, we'll probably make £3 on a mug before tax, but it's not about that for me. It's about thinking that somebody, somewhere, thinks highly enough of us in our community that they want to drink an Anfield Agenda, every Anfield Agenda mug. That's awesome. Right, so there's nothing coming in as of yet, and my voice is going. And of course, I've got to be back in about 12 hours, 13 hours for the watch along. So I will see you guys at about 12 o'clock or 11:55 for the watch along of the Sevilla game tomorrow. We'll take you right the way through that as well, and of course we'll be here for the Las Palmas game as well from about 4:30. Thank you again for another great stream. If anything does happen in the meantime, you know I'll jump straight on, but until tomorrow, thank you all for joining. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and drop a like before you head off, and yes, thank you again for your support.